Hey, how's everyone doing today? I am Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics. Welcome back to another live stream, another episode of What Do You Collect? Tonight is episode 8 of What Do You Collect? I'm going to be joined by one of my friends, Devin from Comics and Stuff. He's a great guy. He's a great member of this community. Before I bring him in, let's go ahead and hit that intro. All right. That was cool. I'm going to bring in Devin now, and then we're going to say hi to some people up in the chat. What's up, Devin?
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on my live stream for a multitude of reasons. Because I remember before I started making YouTube videos, I watched yours. I watched a lot of yours. And you would sit in front of all these bookcases behind you of all sorts of stuff, and I want to say there's action figures, there's a ton of comic books, obviously, and some trades and all that, and you give a lot of advice on comic book collecting in terms of what to get, how to be a collector, all of that. And I've been watching all of those for the last couple of years since I started collecting comic books in 2016. So congratulations to you. You were one of the first people I've watched on YouTube.
Well, thank you. I'm absolutely flattered. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't have the cool background today. It's a million degrees out and my 2-year-old's asleep, so I figured I'd sit outside for this one.
Makes sense. We have a couple people in the chat. I think like everyone is live right now. Like Newbie Comics is live. There's an auction right now. There's it's like every single night there's a ton of people going live. That's all right. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk comics. Ruben Guzman, what's up? Isaiah, what's up? One Love Murphy, One Love, what's up? Before we go any farther, I do want to say that I'm going to be doing an auction on my channel on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 12 my time, 10 Pacific. We're going to be selling lots of books. I just took some pictures of some books I'm going to be selling and send it to some of my friends. Dude, everyone is live, Ruben. It's crazy. Yeah. So I'm doing a live auction on Sunday. Tomorrow, I'm putting out a really cool. What's up, Selwyn? Bob, what's up? Putting out a really cool video where I'm going to be revealing a comic book exclusive variant by one of the very well-known comic book YouTube channels. So I'm excited to be doing that tomorrow on my channel. And I got some CGC books coming back tomorrow as well. So I'm going to film that and put it on a channel later this week. So there's lots of good content coming this week. I'm excited about it, all of that. Devin, enough about me. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good. I spontaneously went and got my hand tattooed, so that was fun. That was a good chunk of my afternoon. Yeah. I stopped by to see one of my buddies, and he was just like, "Hey, man, I had a cancellation. You wanna do some tattoos?" And I just said, "Yeah, why not?"
Sure, so, why not?
Yeah. It was a good time.
I like it. I don't have a single tattoo though, so.
No.
What's up, Tori?
I'm sure you've seen.
I have seen. Yes, I do like the new name. It's good. It is a good name, Isaiah. So let's go ahead and get things rolling. Let's get things started.
Let's do it.
Very first question I always ask everyone that comes on this episode every single time is, when did you start collecting comic books and why?
Okay. So I guess I seriously started collecting comic books in, I want to say 2013. So about 7 years ago. I had just turned 20. It was just after, it was like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks after my 20th birthday. And as a young person who applied for their very first credit card using their parents' credit, I was given a large amount, and I went to a comic show, and I was just like, you know what? I want to buy some comic books. And it was very much like I knew that I had always wanted to do something in comic books. And just that particular, I was at the Lilac City Comic Con in Spokane, and I just decided I'm just going to start buying stuff. and I kind of never stopped. Prior to that, I was trying to like help people publish their own self-made comic books, but it just really wasn't feeling it. But yeah, then I just started buying. My first buy was a Superman number 4, number 6. No, it was just Superman number 4. Yeah, real old book.
Nice. You cut out there a little bit. It sounds like you said you got a Superman number 4 or 6 or 7. That's one of your first books. Is that what you said? It's the sound is cutting out a little bit. I can't really hear you. Hopefully it's just me. I don't know if people in the chat.
Number 4. That was one of the first big purchases. Was a Superman number 4.
I'm having we're having some technical difficulties here. Yes, I want to try that, Tori. Let's see. Let's try this. Okay, let's see. Let's try it again. Okay, can you hear me?
Oh. Uh-oh.
See, people are saying there's some lag on your end. Let's see. Let me try something here. Can you hear me?
I'm not sure. Is everybody?
Everyone's saying you're cutting in and out.
Yeah, everything was going fine on mine. I can see everybody moving perfect and everything. So
let's see here. It might be better if you're inside, because like when it shows you moving, it shows like a still image, and then another still image, and then another still image. What's up, Brian? How's it going? Isaiah started collecting comic books in 2016. So did I. Yeah, I need to try it more because I've only tried episode 1 of Stargirl, and I wasn't too impressed, to be completely honest. But I can try it. I can try it again. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay. It's just okay because you're kind of cutting a little bit in and out. Let me try one more thing here. Sorry about the technical difficulties. What's up, Hawaiian Punch 72? How's it going? Okay. All right. I think we can hear you. It's just the video is a little choppy, but we'll see if it gets better since you're inside now with the Wi-Fi. Okay, so he started collecting comic books in 2015, right around the time he got a credit card, and he decided he wanted to start buying some comic books. He said one of the first comics he bought was a Superman 4. You said?
Superman number 4.
Okay, cool. Okay, and everyone's saying hi to everyone. They're saying you might have to re-enter. I think it's better now. Okay, so I noticed a lot on your Instagram that you collect a lot of older books. Would you say that you're more of a Silver Age, Golden Age, Bronze Age type collector than like a modern collector?
I would say that I am primarily Gold and Silver Age. I have never really gotten into the Bronze Age. Some modern stuff I like, but I don't necessarily go out of my way to collect, except for Saga, which is from Image Comics by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples.
Okay. I know a lot of people that like Saga. A lot of people like Saga.
I love Saga. I think that it's an absolutely wonderful story, beautiful artwork. So that I'm into. But outside of that, I do mostly Gold and Silver Age.
Okay. I will say your video already looks 1,000 times better than it did just a couple minutes ago.
I'm glad. I'm sorry about that, everybody in the comments. That was totally my bad, just trying to be outside.
All good, man. All good. So, when did you start making YouTube videos?
So I started making YouTube videos in 2016, I believe. There was a few questions that I had for myself about the comic book industry that I hadn't seen anybody else answer on YouTube or in any forums. So I decided to do the research and answer the questions myself. And it all started out as like an article I was going to try to submit to like Comic Book Resources, the news site. And I just figured I'm just going to do a YouTube video. And then it just turned into what it turned into.
Yeah. So if people don't know, comics and stuff, Devin, he has like 4,500 subscribers. It's a lot. It's a lot. And
I'm very proud of my channel. Yeah, it's my baby.
And so you started making a lot of videos, like a lot of how-to videos for newer collectors, like myself back in 2016. That's when I started watching your videos. It was like how to one of the videos I watched was how to collect. There was a Flash key issues video and then a Batman key issue video. Those are some of the first ones I watched. And then obviously you started putting out those yearly books to invest in for the year, which I decided to make my own this year, and that video has almost has almost 9,000 views. So I was pretty proud of that, but I kind of stole your idea, which everyone does those videos, so it's all good. So what are some of your favorite videos to make, and like how long did it take you to go from, let's say, 5 subscribers, however many subscribers you started with, to 1,000 and beyond?
Oh gosh, I see. I remember celebrating getting 100 subscribers because that's when I could have made my own URL. I would say that it took me a solid, like, I mean, when the first set of YouTube videos I made, I didn't really have much of an idea of what I was doing, so I think it took me a solid like 4 or 5 months of doing it before I even hit 100 subscribers. But by then I had kind of figured out what I was doing, and I had started figuring out, I guess, what the people were wanting to hear answers from. Because if you look at like a lot of the larger comic book YouTube channels, I love all of them, but a lot of them will do similar things like, you know, comic book character origins or key issues and things like that. And I wanted to do something a little different, you know, like talk about how-tos, you know, like you were saying, the how-tos, the, you know, what to have Stan Lee sign or not sign. Like there was nothing like that. So once I started doing stuff like that, my subscribers just started, but it's because at the time there was nobody else talking about that stuff.
Right. And I remember you went to a con in one of your videos, I believe. You went to a Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I started vlogging every convention I went to for at least the last 4 years.
Nice. So what cons are up there in Seattle? Or did you go to like California for some? Or what are some of the bigger cons you went to?
Well, so I hit all of the ones in the Washington and Portland area except for Wizard World every year. So that was Emerald City Comic Con, Rose City Comic Con down in Portland, the Lilac City Comic Con in Spokane, the Jet City Comic Show down in Tacoma, Washington, and the Geek Girl Comic Con, and the one up in Bellingham, which I cannot remember the name of. But every year I did make it a goal to try to fly somewhere far away for another convention. So I've been to the Amazing Hawaii Comic Con, I've been to Star Wars Celebration over in London, I've been to the New York Comic Con, and I've been to WonderCon down in Anaheim as well.
Did you say New York Comic Con? You've been there?
New York Comic Con. That was the last video I posted. I haven't posted on my YouTube channel for a while because I've been my wife and I have been trying to just focus on saving for a house, and I just haven't had the time to really invest back into posting videos. But the last video I posted was a documentary of myself and a good friend of mine who's also one of my tattoo artists, and we traveled across the United States over the course of 2 weeks. We visited 5 of the most famous comic shops in the country, and then finished the whole thing off at the New York Comic Con, and we vlogged the entire way across. So it's like an hour-long video, but it was a blast.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna pull up your channel really quick for everyone to see.
Sure.
Some people are saying that they may have seen yours or not sure. I know for certain I've seen a lot of your videos. So here is his YouTube channel at 4,360 plus subscribers. His most popular video is from 3 years ago, 31,000 views. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Comics to invest in for 2017. There's your how-to video. We talked about how to collect for beginners. Comic books to invest in 2018. Where can I buy comics online? Which I did a video on that as well. Comics to invest in for 2019. And then, so you want to sell comics, 10 easy steps. Those are his top 6 videos on his channel. And then here, he's got a whole bunch of vlogs. Oh, there is that famous intro we always see. I love the Star Labs hoodie. So this is his corner that this is where I've always seen all his videos, is right here. This background here, the Broncos and his books and whatnot. And I'm gonna click on it really quick so everyone can see. His channel is really great. Like I said, I've been watching him for a long time. I'm gonna minimize this while the ads play so we can get you those the ad money before it plays.
Well, thank you.
Splash Page Comics. That's what I've been doing for 2 years, but it stopped this year. White Gloves across America was a blast. Nice. I was subscribed, but I think he was part of the big wave of YouTube unsubscribing me from channels, and I never resubbed. Yeah, YouTube has been
personally.
Yeah, he says, I'm fairly certain I've seen the Comics and Stuff video or 2 before. Yes. And it has, like you said, it's been a while since he posted a video, but I've seen a lot of his videos. He was part of the reason why I started making videos. Actually, there was, going off track here, and we'll get back. Do you know Matt Thanatos and Reggie Collects? Do you know those two people?
I think I'm familiar with them.
Okay, so they made a live video together one time, and I was watching, and I was like, dude, I need to do one of these. And then John's Comics with Kids told me, he's like, I challenge you to make one. And so I started making one. My very first video, I had 8 subscribers, and I've gone up since then. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna play like the first 15 seconds of Devin's Comics and Stuff, one of these videos here.
YouTube, welcome to an awesome new episode of Comics and Stuff. My name is Devin and I'm your host, and today I'm going to be telling you guys how to collect comic books.
So,
I was so skinny.
We all used to be skinny at some point, and then we all get thick. So
embrace the dad bod. Embrace the dad bod.
We have. I have. It's inevitable, man. It really is.
Yeah.
We have a desk job, all of that. Let's see. Hialeah Comic Bro, my guy. What's up?
That's my dude. Yo.
Discovery Bay Comics. JB, what's good, man? Lots of good people in here. In my opinion, there's just too many comic book channels to keep up with, but I enjoy Burke's family and personality, so I keep with this channel religiously. Eric, I appreciate you saying that, buddy. You are a great member of this community, and again, I really do appreciate. Let me do this comic book right here that you sent me, Power Rangers 21 with Stan Lee as Zordon. I appreciate that AOK you sent me.
That's awesome.
Great member of this community. Superpower Review. Kevin, what's up? Man, this guy is live again. Yeah, dude, I got content coming out every day, man. Less than 500 hours away from getting ads in my videos. So I'm close. Okay. So this last video that we just saw for just like 10 seconds reminded me of a character that you like that is not as well, like he's very well known. Because I know you collect him because I've seen it on your channel many times. We're talking Aquaman. What makes you like Aquaman so much, and what kind of Aquaman books do you have in your collection?
Well, so here's a funny. So Aquaman was my favorite superhero for a really long time, and for good reason. But since then, to be transparent, my favorite superhero has transitioned into the Flash. What Aquaman was to me was he was like it started when I was a kid. He was always this funny one in all the Super Friends in the mornings on like Saturday mornings on Cartoon Network when they'd replay all those old 60s cartoons, and I'd watch Super Friends, and Aquaman would just be this guy who had fish and had the dolphins come up and spray water on bad guys, and people would make fun of him, and he was like this outside weirdo guy. And growing up, I always felt like this weird outside weirdo kid because I never really felt like I belonged anywhere. So I kind of latched onto Aquaman because I was like, you know, he's kind of embodies that feeling of you're cool, but you know, people make fun of you anyways. And I was like, I'm cool, but people make fun of me. So I just really liked him. I used to have a full run of Aquaman, all of his key issues, except for obviously his very first appearance, which goes for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars, because it's also the first appearance of Green Arrow.
Yep.
Which is more fun 73. But yeah, I used to have a full run. So that was Aquaman #1 all the way up to like 62 or 63 when the series got canceled.
And you have, I don't know which one this is sitting next to you, but really quickly, Devin was the first YouTuber I followed. Said hi, Leia Comic Bro. Boom.
I remember we had a conversation.
There you go. There you go. Mm-hmm. Great of you to have him on here, Burke. Thank you. Hi, Leia. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, Devin is a great dude. His videos make me feel like he's already my friend, even though this was the first time I'd actually talked to him. Like, he's very, very conversational and very nice, and it seems like he's genuine in his videos. That is part of why I wanted to get him on here, because he just seems like a really good dude, and we like a lot of the same stuff. He likes Batman and Flash, big DC guy. And as everyone knows, outside of Power Rangers, I'm a DC guy. So
I was watching Power Rangers this morning.
Are you really?
Yeah, Wild Force.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Sitting with my 2-year-old, just turning on some Wild Force and watched it for a solid couple hours.
Nice. Eric Elton said, I've watched Aquaman ever since the Justice League cartoon as a kid. Yeah, I remember watching the Justice League Super Friends show a lot, like every night at like 9 p.m. Before I went to bed for like several years. I would watch it. It was so goofy and just for kids, but I enjoyed it.
It's campy, but that's the thing. I love campy, goofy superheroes. That's like what I grew up on. You can buy the Aquaman had his own cartoon series from the 60s from Hanna-Barbera. You can buy that on Amazon for like $20.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it. Let's see here. Oh yeah, first one you watched was Kevin. Nice. I noticed. So not only did you just say that the Flash has now surpassed Aquaman in terms of what you like, but you're also wearing a Flash T-shirt. Now, are you a Flash TV show fan and a Flash comic book fan?
Both. I really liked the Flash TV show and Legends of Tomorrow. I never really got into Arrow. Supergirl was okay. But the Flash I thought was really good because it was just the right amount of campy, but also the right amount of superhero action and drama and young people angst for me to be like, okay, this is fun. I honestly kind of fell off the last season after Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I'm looking at getting back into it because they brought Godspeed as a villain for one of the seasons. I have no idea what's gone on or what's happened. I just know that he's the bad guy, so I'm really curious to see what they do with that character.
Okay, so I'm not going to try to spoil anything. I've seen every episode from every single season of The Flash. That is my favorite TV show right now. Probably all time, honestly. It's probably up there with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the original Ninja Turtles cartoon. Those are probably my 3 favorite shows of all time. Godspeed does show up, but he's not the main villain.
Oh, he's not the main villain?
He's not. I think from what they're saying, he was supposed to have a bigger role at the end, but since it got cut short due to the pandemic, that he might have a bigger role in the next season. What's up, Jamie? Think Geek Theory. How's it going? So we're talking with Devin from Comics and Stuff. He is a comic book collector with his own YouTube channel. It's a pretty big channel. He also collects. I see some Star Wars back there, man. Are you a Star Wars fan?
I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Oh man, it's my fandoms go comic books, Star Wars, Planet of the Apes, Pokemon, and Dungeons and Dragons. But those are my big 5. Yeah. But
So
I love Star Wars.
So you like the Star Wars movies and the comic books?
Yeah, I'm a much bigger fan of the Dark Horse Star Wars run than the new Disney stuff. If I'm being frank, I for a time I may have been one of those expanded universe purists, but I've gotten over it and I've accepted the new Marvel canon. But yeah, I'm really close friends with a few of the Dark Horse Star Wars artists, Doug Wheatley and Dan Parsons. They're good friends of mine, and they did a lot of work with Star Wars Dark Times, which is personally my favorite Star Wars series ever written, and George Lucas's. Just pointing that out. And Dan Parsons did a lot of Star Wars Legacy, which was the 137 something years Luke Skywalker's great great grandson, something or other. Some of the best runs of Star Wars, in my opinion. I have full runs of all of them. So big Star Wars. I also have a bunch of Star Wars tattoos, but
nice. The Lost Kid says Star Wars fan favorite movie is Empire Strikes Back. Really quickly, I want to know where each trilogy ranks, and then rank. You don't have to rank them all, but rank like your top 3 Star Wars movies.
I can do that. Okay, so original trilogy obviously is the best, then the prequel trilogy, second best, and then the sequel trilogy, third best. My favorite Star Wars movie, I know that Empire Strikes Back is like considered one of the greatest movies ever, and it's like the number one Star Wars movie for most fans. But for me, Return of the Jedi Episode 6, just because of the feeling of nostalgia that I had watching it as a kid. I loved the Ewoks. I loved Luke's final showdown with Vader and the Emperor. I loved like the forest stuff, Jabba's palace and blowing up his barge. It's just my favorite Star Wars movie is Return of the Jedi. So that's going to be number 1 for me. Number 2 is probably going to be New Hope, just because it started the whole thing, and there's a lot of classic film there, and I love old stuff like that. Number 3 would be, oh gosh, probably Episode 2, but that's also another nostalgia factor because my mom took me to see it on like my 11th birthday at like opening day in the theaters. So that was like a birthday present and a really good memory I have with my mom. And then, it goes Episode 5, Episode 3, Episode 7, Episode 9, Episode 1, and then Episode 8. Episode 8 is my least favorite.
Dang. I only have top 3. He went ahead and just ranked them all.
Sorry, I have that.
I'll be completely honest with you. I have not seen them all.
You have not seen them all?
I have not seen them all. I did take time a couple months back. I watched the prequel trilogy. I knew at some point when I was younger, I had watched the original trilogy, and I tried to watch the original trilogy, and I got like 20 minutes in, and I was like, this is really bad because it was like 40, 50 years old. It's not a good movie. It just has a lot of nostalgia factor to it for what it brought to the rest, but they're not great movies, if we're being completely honest. In my opinion, at least. I couldn't do it.
No. I know a ton of people who have a hard time watching movies that are like pre-1990 just because of the effects and like the old look that it has. Like some people just have a hard time with those. Not
I don't have a hard time with it. It's just like very, very, very slow. Like George Lucas has always said, his Star Wars was supposed to be a soap opera in space, and you can totally tell because it's very, very slow.
Yep, I hear that.
Jamie Think Geek Theory says, yes, I agree. Dark Horse was better in Star Wars. Bring Mara Jade to her own movie or show. I don't know who that is.
I agree 100,000%.
I don't know who that is, but all right. I'm assuming from the comments.
Is Luke Skywalker's lover / wife, mother of his children in the Dark Horse era, and she was a badass. She was,
There you go. He said badass, not fat ass.
No, badass.
Oh shoot! I'm looking at some of the stuff you have in this video. Did you meet Stan Lee?
I've met Stan Lee several times. Yeah, I used to have a lot of books signed by him, but I've sold them off slowly over the years.
Nice. What What's your favorite comic book signed by Stan Lee?
My favorite one was probably my Tales to Astonish 35, the first appearance of Ant-Man in costume. The signature was pristine. The book was in great shape for a lower grade. It was nice, bright, perfectly placed. That was probably my favorite one and the very last one that I sold. So that was probably my number one.
So, would you say you sold a lot of your comic books? It sounds like you still have some, but you also have sold some. Like,
I've quantified what I collect. I used to just collect anything that I thought was like, oh look, it's a nice cover. Oh look, that was the first appearance. Oh look, that was by this certain famous artist or writer. But I have really crunched down on like, okay, I need to just stop blowing money on all these books because I end up just having a bunch of books that I don't really feel like an emotional attachment to.
sure.
And I just sell them. So and I know a lot of people are into the business of buying and selling, but I just want to collect what I like.
Sure.
So I have really whittled down my collection to kind of its core of what I love the most. Actually, if you want to talk to the crowd for a second, I have a stack of comics 10 feet away from me with my favorite stuff that I can show
Sure.
off.
All right, sounds
Okay.
good. I'll put my
I'm going to put this down. I will be right back.
Okay. What's everyone's favorite comic book writer these days? Well, I'm going to ask Devin when he gets back here. I can tell you that my favorite comic book writers are currently, I would say, obviously Jeff Johns is still one of the best comic book writers out there. Joshua Williamson right now, who is writing The Flash for DC, has absolutely been killing it since Flash Rebirth. His whole 90 plus issues has been amazing. I think that he deserves a run on Batman. What's up, K Titus? And I like Donny Cates, obviously. I think he's a great writer. Devin's back. So I said Jeff Johns. Scott Snyder is another great writer that I like. I do think that Ryan Parrott for the Power Rangers right now, he's doing good. Not great, but he's doing good. I wouldn't put him in my top favorite writers, but he's doing good. So Jeff Johns, Scott Snyder, Donny Cates, those are some of my favorite writers. Devin, who are some of your favorite comic book writers these days?
I can't.
What's up?
Hold on. Devices.
I'm putting my answers in the chat as well for those people that missed it.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hold on, I'm going to try to reconnect my headphones here. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Okay, let's see here. Chip Zdarsky. Yes, I've heard good things about Chip Zdarsky. For great things, actually. Bub Collects says he likes Donny Cates. Are you good, Devin? No, he's not. Not yet. Let's see here. And Venditti. I will say Frank Miller, as a writer, when he used to do Batman, I thought he was really good. Like, Batman Year One is all-time the best Batman story ever. And his Batman The Dark Knight Returns is really good, too. Scott Snyder, he is consistent in his level of writing. I agree. His level of writing is very, very high-level thinking as well. Like, this means this means this equals X equals whatever. Like his Batman Court of Owls, the second best, in my opinion, Batman story ever. Only behind Batman Year One.
I loved Court of Owls. That was probably one of my favorite modern Batman stories all time. It was so good. So
good. So who are some of your favorite comic book writers these days?
So I love Jonathan Hickman. Absolutely love all of his works. Manhattan Projects, East of West are probably like up there. He also did God is Dead, which was pretty good for a while, but then he dropped off and they added a new writer and it got a little weird. But his initial run on it was really good. I think East of West is probably going to be my favorite work by Jonathan Hickman. And then outside of that, Brian K. Vaughan from Saga is really good. And I love Denny O'Neil. I know he's not like a modern writer, but I love Denny O'Neil. And I'm so bummed out that he passed, but he did some really good writing.
Nice. I like the list. There was one person I did not mention. He's not really a writer. He's just more of a cover artist nowadays, but he used to be a writer. And he wrote a lot of these. It's Kevin Eastman. Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, two of the best writers, came up with the best, probably independent, like collection of heroes ever, honestly, with the TMNT. So let's see here.
Oh, thank you, Superpower Review.
Subbed him. There we go. We got 15 people in the chat. I appreciate everyone for joining us. I know there's a lot of people live right now. Usually I have like 20 to 30 people in here. So I know everyone's live, and that's great. This is a great community. Comics and Stuff said he just grabbed a whole bunch of comic books.
I did.
So he's going to start showing off some pretty cool books. I'm excited. Whenever you're ready, I'll go and I'll put you full screen.
Yeah. Put me on full screen. I'll show you guys what I got. I got 4 big books here for you.
Boom.
All right. So this is probably one of my favorite books in my collection. Not only because it's a classic sci-fi campy DC cover, it was also extremely difficult to find, which is my Mystery in Space number 21. Sorry if there's any glare, but it's the merry-go-round, or the interplanetary merry-go-round. I searched for this book for years and never even saw a physical copy in person. Like, I had seen pictures of them, but I was never able to find one until I saw one on eBay just one random day, and I had to have it, and I had it pressed, and it came back as 6.0. It's the first appearance of Space Cabbie, which is probably not a character that many people have ever heard of, but that's the only significant thing about the book. So, Mystery in Space 21.
Mystery in Space what?
21.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, let's see here. I've got one of my favorite romance covers of all time, Cinderella Love number 29 by Matt Baker, who was one of the first prominent African-American comic book artists in the Golden Age. His romance artwork is absolutely coveted, rare, and expensive, with his most famous cover being Cinderella Love number 25, which goes for $2,000 plus in a 1.0. So, and this one was hard enough to find, and don't let me tell you what I paid for it. So,
dang,
yeah,
here.
They're Matt Baker covers are great. And then here are my babies. This is my Starling Comics number 49. They say that the Hollywood legend has that this is the inspiration where Bender came from. But it's also one of the best sci-fi covers ever made by Alex Schomburg, prominent Golden Age artist. This was airbrushed, and I can tell you that a 9.2 at a pedigree sold for $100-something thousand. So that's cool. And then this, I actually have this cover tattooed on my back. That's how much I love it. Blue Bolts number 105, an LB Cole classic sci-fi cover. This is actually the book that got me into one of the 2 books that got me into collecting high-end rare Golden Age sci-fi. The other one would be Space Action number 1, but I don't have that one with me right now.
Dude,
yeah.
Those are some sick books. I will say, I don't know if I've ever really seen any of those before, and honestly, it's kind of nice to get someone on here that collects something different than just the regular Batman, X-Men, all of that stuff. And those are pretty cool, man. Those are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's weird because the modern comic book collecting community is what's driving the industry and really keeping it going. That's what's pushing publishers to keep churning out materials and variant covers, and that stuff is really keeping the industry alive, which a lot of us Golden Age collectors are really thankful for. But it's very interesting because the Golden Age community is so niche and so small. So like not a lot of people pay attention to it because I mean it's either the only thing that people really know about are first appearance of Superman, $2 million plus, First appearance of Batman, $1.5 million plus, and the rest people are like, why do I care? Like, so
Right. True. Wow, that Schomburg is fantastic according to Cardstock Variant.
Thank you.
Nice. Swelling Tear says James Tynion is really killing it with something that's killing the children. He's been killing it for a long time with whatever he writes, from Batman TMNT, which is one of the books that got me into collecting, his current Batman run, and several other books. James Tynion is an amazing writer, for sure. We got lots of people in here. We got 16 people in here right now. I appreciate everyone for joining us. I was going to ask you something because you said you were a Flash collector. There's one book that I'm looking for 2020. It's the top of my wish list. And I'm assuming you probably have it. And if you have it, I would like to see it.
Okay.
Flash 110, First Weather Wizard, and Kid Flash. Wally West is my favorite. Wrong way. Wally West is my favorite Flash.
Okay.
That's art by Karate Kevin over at Superpower Review. He sent me that, and I paid him some money. Wally West is my favorite Flash and my favorite character, one of my favorite characters. And so I really want to get a Flash 110 sometime this year. So
Okay.
you probably had it. I don't know if you do or not, but
So I don't. I'm in the process of saving up for my next big Holy Grail comic, which is going to be Showcase number 4, first appearance of Barry Allen. And for that, I have sold off most of my Flash books to afford the big Flash book. So I unfortunately am actually flat broke out of Flash books right now because it's all going towards saving for a Showcase number 4. So that's been interesting because it kind of sucked to let them go. I was really sad to let go of my first appearance of Grodd because he's one of my favorite comic book villains of all time. I love the idea of an evil gorilla that mind controls people. So so that stung. But yeah, I haven't had a Flash 110 for a while, unfortunately.
So you have had one at some point, though.
At some point, yes. At some point, I had a lot of Flash issues past 110. I never got a 105, which was the Mirror Master. That one was always a little too pricey just to kind of drop on. So unfortunately, not 105, but 110, 123, 139. Yeah, I've had a few of them.
Dude, that's freaking sick, man. I have a 139 right now, and it's in a 2.0. Low grade is better than no grade, and you've said that many times on your channel.
Yeah. Within your budget.
Because I remember watching one of your videos, and you were discussing why you buy low grades. And why don't you talk about why you believe it's okay to buy like a 1.0 or a 2.0 versus having 7s and 8s and 6s and all that of those older books?
Well, I'm a firm believer of, you collect what you love, collect what makes you happy. I understand that if you're a bazillionaire and you have the money and the means to buy a 9.8 Hulk 181, do it. If you have the money to and you can do it. But like I always say, for guys like me, like I don't make $150 an hour. I work in the administrative offices in the dungeon of a hospital. I don't make enough money to go splurging on thousands of dollars of comics at once. Like all of these books that I have that I just showed you, while they may be expensive, I saved. I bugged my friends to let me do like payment plans. I traded. Like I busted my butt, trying to get these. So, you work within your budget. You collect what you love, not for the monetary value, unless you're going in to invest in high grade comics to sell for your retirement, or you're trying to go into business and sell them for profit later. But if you're not looking to sell them for profit and you see one that you like, don't worry about the number grade. Just get it because you like it and it makes you happy.
That is probably the best description of why people should get low grades versus higher grades. Like you can get more first appearances or key issues at lower grades than you can obviously for higher grades. Now, obviously, if you can get a great deal on something, obviously get the best deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Swelling Terrace said, yeah, a 1.5 X-Men 1 goes for $2,000 on average. I've been eyeing it for some time and might pull the trigger soon just so I can have it in my PC. Dude, there you go.
Go for it. Yeah, save your money, work hard. If it's attainable, do it. Like I think like my startling 49, I had to bug my buddy. I sold a huge chunk of my collection just to pay for this guy, and then after that, it was the undercopy of a buddy of mine who's probably one of my best friends. So I was like, we've been friends for years. Like, yo, can I just let me do like $500 a month? Like that allows me to do my car payment, gas, groceries, put money into my kids' college accounts. I can do like $250 out of every other paycheck. Like, let me do $500 a month, and I just paid it off slowly over the course of like a year and a half after I sold a bunch of books to pay off a huge chunk up front. But yeah,
dude, that's awesome. That's freaking awesome.
It was so satisfying to finally receive it. So,
oh yeah, super satisfying. I totally get that for sure.
And there are some shops that will do. Not all comic shops do this, but some comic shops will do layaway. I think like Reese's Rare Comics does it. I think Bobacon Collectibles up here in Everett, Washington, they'll do it. If these places have a book that you want, that you like, they'll just do payment plans.
A lot of people will, man. A lot of them will, and a lot of them will also give you. Like they'll negotiate on wall books a lot. Like just because that's the price, that doesn't mean they would not sell it to you for less. Those prices you see on the wall are always negotiable.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, negotiating and haggling is part of comic book dealing culture. Yep,
absolutely. Yep. I've been meaning to ask you this. I haven't heard you really say anything about any modern books. Are you a new comic book reader or collector, or do you only read those like trade paperback form later when the full story is over?
So no, for a long time I had a pull box at my local comic book shop. I actually stopped reading them in individual issue form as soon as we started saving for a house, just because that was an extra $100 a week that could be going to buy a house. So right. I've been waiting for trades to come out for the last like year and just reading them as such on like either I'll order them from my shop or I'll on Boxology. It really depends on where I'm reading them at. It's funny because I have comic books to read at work when I'm slacking off and trying to avoid work, and I have comic books to read at home when I'm trying to ignore my kids screaming at me. So I've knocked out the individual issue collecting, unfortunately, but it's for a good cause. So
I like it. Okay, Eric Compton said, not only that, but if you try and sell high grade Grail versus selling the low grade, your audience of people of how they can afford it from you increases. You don't price yourself out of reselling it. That is true. It really is. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Do they hang on to the book, and do you get the book after it's paid off for a layaway? So a lot of times they'll generally hold on to the book until you have it completely paid off, and then you get it. Because otherwise, if they give it to you up front, then you're not going to pay that money. It's just not going to happen. So I don't know. I don't know if that's your experience as well or not, but that's what I know.
Yeah, I mean, no. My experience is they hold on to the book until I've paid it off. Which is understandable. So
makes sense. I have a couple more questions. We'll probably get off here in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm a chatterbox.
What's that?
I'm a chatterbox, so feel free to ask any questions you like.
There we go. Okay, so really quickly, you have, I think one of your top videos is advice for new comic book collectors. If you could give advice, 3 pieces of advice for comic book collecting, what would you say to beginners or just comic book people in general about how to collect and all that?
Okay. My number one piece of advice, absolutely most important before just diving into collecting comics, is figure out what you're collecting comics for. Are you collecting them because you love them and you just want to have a personal collection for yourself to adore? Are you collecting them because you want to resell them later and invest in them now? Are you collecting them because you're hopping on the bandwagon? Figure out what you're doing it for, because that's going to affect what your budget's going to be, how much time and money and research you're going to have to invest in it. That's going to determine where your collection goes, and how sporadic it can be, whether or not your collection has comics from all companies, or if you're just doing one company or one specific genre, etc. So figure out what you're collecting for is probably my number one piece of advice. Number two, I would say, don't work within your means. Figure out I know I want this comic book for $1,000 at a 9.8, but also understand that you're a person who has life to pay for. So make sure that you don't overexhaust yourself, because I've seen a lot of people dive into comic books and start spending entirely too much money at once on all these books that they think are going to be great investments, and then they get burnt out just because it was so much all at once, and they get overwhelmed and they just drop the whole thing and walk away, and it makes the whole experience not very fun. But comic book collecting should be fun. It should be something that makes you happy. I don't believe that comic book collecting should be stressful. I do it as it's kind of therapeutic for me personally, because it's something that I really care about. So figure out your means, try not to stress. And my last piece of advice is have fun. Have fun, figure out what you love, and collect that. That's my personal opinion.
So I went ahead and I was typing what he was saying as he said his 3 pieces of advice for collecting. Number 1 is, what are you collecting for? Number 2 is work within your means. And 3 is to just have fun. I like it. I like it a lot. We have a question here from Swelling Tear. Favorite trade paperback? Do you favor trade paperbacks or buying an entire run, regardless of how many books it is?
Oh, for me, I love East of West. East of West is just great. Everything about East of West is it's such a good series. I would invest in the whole paperback and just in the whole run. If not East of West, I would go Tales of the Jedi from Dark Horse Comics. Those original 1990s Tales of the Jedi, really fun. Except for their omnibuses are now expensive and hard to find, but you can find them in reprint with Marvel. So I think they're just fun series to read, regardless of collecting the individual issues. They're fun. Oh, and Saga, always Saga.
It sounds like if you really like it, you prefer to buy the whole run, but if you just want to read it, you would favor a trade paperback.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I loved something enough to buy the whole run, I would buy the whole run, individual issues, first appearances, whatever. But if it's just a good read and you don't necessarily need to collect all the issues, trade paperback for sure.
I like it. I like it a lot. What does your family, because you talked about your family a little bit at the beginning at least, what does your family think of your comic book collecting and your YouTube channel?
Well, let's see here. So my 8-year-old doesn't. He used. If you guys have watched my early YouTube videos, my 8-year-old, when he was really young, it was just me and him. He would come and do unboxings. So he kind of grew up for the first couple years doing it with me. He loves watching the videos. He watches it when he goes over to his grandparents' house or his uncle's house or something. And he loves to just watch them and talk about them and ask if he can be on them. So there's that. My 2-year-old doesn't care because he's 2. He's 2, but he loves looking at comics. You'll sometimes catch my Instagram stories of him going through my collection and pulling out books and going, "Wow, Daddy, wow!" So that's a lot of fun. And my wife has learned to tolerate it because she's not a nerd at all, but she has tried her best to be supportive and get into it with me, and not make fun of me when I cry every time I see a new Star Wars movie coming out, and tries not to smack me upside the head when I buy a huge expensive comic book, and she's supportive. And it's great because she's not a nerd by nature, so it's awesome to have her try and understand the thing that I love that brings me so much joy.
I like it. Okay, got a couple more questions.
Yeah.
One of the magical questions I got to ask you.
All right.
Someone like myself or anyone else came up to Comics and Stuff Devin, and they said, "Yo, Devin, what do you collect?" What would your answer be, and why?
I would say Gold and Silver Age, sci-fi and romance. Those are my sweet spots. I love sci-fi. I love retrofuturism, that genre of like what people in the 1920s and 30s thought the future was going to be like. I love laser guns and jetpacks and bubble helmets and that stuff. And I love romance just because I have a sweet spot for it. I think it's pretty artwork. I really like Roy Lichtenstein's artwork that he has pulled from a lot of DC romance and war books. If you guys have ever seen the Roy Lichtenstein, he's like one of those modern artists, kind of like Andy Warhol, but he does some really cool stuff. And Matt Baker just does beautiful artwork. And I think that sort of draws me to it. There's another artist named J. Scott Pike who did a lot of DC's Silver Age romance stuff, and I own some of his original artwork. He knew how to draw, so I think the art really gets me to romance. Sci-fi, I just love it.
I was thinking you were going to say J. Scott Campbell.
Yeah. J. Scott Pike.
That's funny. Magnus Robot Fighter 4000 AD?
No. More along the, for me, I'm like Adam Strange. If anybody is familiar with Adam Strange. Well, I guess everybody is now because of the new Strange Adventures, but like Adam Strange at one point in time was the most famous sci-fi character ever before Star Wars came out, before Planet of the Apes came out. Like he was the sci-fi character at one point in time. And he's kind of faded into obscurity until recently.
I like it. Okay, a couple more questions here. What would you say to someone who is possibly thinking about getting into comic books or has thought about it, but it's a little overwhelmed by the endless amounts of comic books that you could possibly buy or collect? What would you say to them about getting into collecting comic books?
Oh gosh. I would say take it slowly. I would say, take your time, do research. Research what you, and sorry if anybody hears any noise, my door just opened. But I would say research what you're going to collect, research what your research. That's research. As long as you research, you shouldn't get too overwhelmed because you'll have the knowledge of what you're getting into. Find a genre, research it, figure out what covers you like, what writers you like, what artists you like, and then you can have like an idea of like, okay, I like this writer, he worked with this artist that I like here, so I'm going to collect that run, instead of just being like, oh my god, there's 83 titles of this genre, which one am I going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm debating on buying a Spider-Man 300. Do you think it will continue to climb? I look for personal enjoyment because I love it, but it's quite a bit of cash to sink into a book. Grab it or not? I say yes, only because recently, within the last month, I saw a Blue Label 9.8 newsstand of ASM 300 sell for $4,500, which is like...
What was the grade?
What's that?
What was the grade?
9.8.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
9.8 Blue Label newsstand ASM 300 sold for $4,500, which is like $2,000 more than like it was selling for just like, I don't know, like a couple years ago. So what would your answer be to Walt Lawson here? Do you think?
I would say buy it. I mean, maybe you don't need a 9.8. I mean, certainly 9.8s are always going to demand a premium, but you can still find a 6.0 or a 7.0 for not $4,500 and still be plenty happy with it and enjoy it. Maybe, I don't know if you want one signed by Stanley, but those are also going to demand a premium. You could pull out or hold off on that, maybe get it signed by Todd McFarlane, and then it'll increase in value. But really, if you just want it for your personal enjoyment, yeah, you don't need a perfect one. You can get one that has a couple color breaks on the spine that are microscopic that only a grader would notice and still be happy with it.
I'm assuming you meant 9.8, not 9.5.
Yeah.
But 8.5, that's a good grade, especially if it hasn't been pressed or anything like that. Let's say you crack it and you get it pressed and cleaned. Sorry, 9.6 is what he meant. We all want a 9.6 or a 9. I have a friend, D-Rock Comics, who has a 9.6 signed ASM 300.
Lord.
And he's gotten it pressed a couple times, hoping to get a 9.8, and it just didn't happen. But 9.6, that's a pretty good grade.
Yeah.
9.32.
If you can get an 8.5, crack it out and press it out. I mean, that's gold, babe. Yeah.
There you go. As long as it looks great to you. I agree, James Howard. I agree. I've just a few more questions here. First one is for me. What advice would you give to someone like me who's just reached 1,000 subscribers in the last month or so about continuing to build the YouTube channel?
I mean, keep doing you. I just from this conversation alone and from the times we've interacted, like on Instagram, you are a very personable guy. I would say just keep being your friendly self. Brand recognition is always really important. I even though it didn't go very far, but I made some sales. I took my comics and stuff logo and put it on a Redbubble account and sold a few T-shirts with it. Yeah. So you can do that with your shirt. I mean, there was somebody in here that said they follow you religiously. Hey, maybe they'd buy a shirt, and that's free advertising. You'd make a couple bucks, and that's really like what a loyal subscriber. That's a loyal fan. That's part of your community. So brand recognition. Make sure you keep expanding your social media. I have a Facebook and a Twitter and an Instagram for comics and stuff. I would say do all three and see which one sticks the best. For me, it happened to be Instagram, but for some other comic book channels, Facebook might just be their forte, or some other comic book channels may have 1 million followers on Twitter. Just find which one sticks and make sure that you really feed into that, because that's a new way to gain new fans, new subscribers, things like that. And just keep being yourself and doing what you're doing, because I think you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that. I will say I started an Instagram in June 2018. So for like 6 or 7 months, I didn't do any YouTube. I only did Instagram, and it does seem like it's the best in terms of finding other people that like what you like. It seems like it's the easiest because you can just search those hashtags and find other people and all that. And so, like I said, January 2019 is when I started my YouTube channel. Went from 8 subscribers to now 1,188 or whatever I'm at. So,
and congratulations again on that. That's really cool.
I appreciate it.
It's fun. I just I opened my Instagram when I first started the Comics and Stuff YouTube channel, and I just hit 1,000 subscribers on Instagram at the end of last year. But what I like is, even though it was a slow build, I never paid for a single subscriber or follower. I never went out of my way to tell people, hey, follow back if I follow you. Every follow, as long as you don't do those things, every follower that you get is an organic follow, which means that you are gaining somebody who is actively interacting with your posts and your content, which means that that's a real person. That's not just a bot or a paid for subscriber, which is really good. So, I mean, if you haven't done that and you've already got 1,000 subscribers, that means you have people that are really interacting with your content, which tells me that you're doing something really right.
I appreciate that. Manny, Chino and Manny. I don't know if you ever heard of Chino Comics and More. That's one of the brothers from Chino Comics and More. They're great people. They do live auctions and they do lots of really cool videos. They're great peeps. So I put this in the chat. I'm 11 subscribers away from adding another mystery box for my giveaway for 1,000 subscribers. I am doing giveaways, and I'm giving away 2 slabs and some free books just because I want to give back to the people that have been subscribing to me. I appreciate that. That's 5 years organic. Yes. Yes. Super close. I am, like I said, 11 away, and the contest ends in 3 days. So make sure you hit up that 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Okay. I think I've asked almost every question I can ask. I'm going to ask 2 more really quickly, and then we'll get out of here. Number 1, What is your number one favorite comic book in your collection and why?
Oh, that's a heavy question. What is my number one favorite comic book in my collection? It's a hard tie between my Blue Bolt 105, which was that LB Cole cover that I showed you guys a little bit ago. Actually, here, I'll show it again just since I mentioned it. So my Blue Bolt 105, just because I love LB Cole. I love his classic work. He's done everything: romance covers, sci-fi covers, horror covers, crime covers. He has done a lot. And I think that he not only is he such a celebrated artist, but he's also just very technically talented. It's going to be between that, and I also have another one that I didn't get to show you guys was my Young Love number 81 from DC Comics, because it's a printing error cover, and so far it seems to be the only one known to exist. So I found it for like $30 on eBay one day and thought it looked weird, and I bought it, and I had it graded, and so far I have received a lot of attention for it, as far as like offers on it go, and I'm just like, no, that's my baby, don't touch it, don't look at it. Like, so it's a tie between those. I think Blue Bolt would probably come out on top though, just because I busted my butt for it, and I have a giant tattoo of the cover on my back. So
I like it. If you go back and change anything in the past and collecting, what would it be? For me, I don't know if I'd really change anything, honestly. Like I've sold stuff that was worth money to pay for other things because I needed it. So most of those I've bought back. And the ones I haven't, I didn't buy back for a reason. So I don't know if I'd really change anything other than maybe stop buying so many variants, especially Power Rangers, because you can use that money on something else. That'd probably be the only thing. What about you, Devin?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess as far as collecting comics would go, I would say I would go back and stop being so hasty to sell off things. Because some of the books I was trying to flip so I could buy books that I wanted, and I wish that I would have waited to maybe have them graded or invested in them and waited a few more years as opposed to like 6 to 12 months. There's a few titles that I do regret selling so quickly. Actually, fun thing. Do you want to hear my the worst collecting horror story that I've ever experienced?
Sure, let's hear it.
Okay. Actually, it doesn't have anything to do with comic books. It has to do with Pokemon. Pokemon over the last 10 years has gained a massive following, close to like what Power Rangers has as far as that nostalgia factor goes.
Sure.
And so Pokemon memorabilia, especially the cards, have gone up tremendously in value. I mean, a first edition Charizard from their base set in perfect condition, you're looking at, $10,000 or something ridiculous like that, $5,000 to $10,000. I had 16 first edition unopened booster packs from Pokemon, and about 2 or 3 years ago, before they really picked up steam, I had paid about $300 or $400 for the whole group. 2 years ago, before they really started to pick up steam, I sold the whole lot of them, all 16 of them, for maybe $1,500. Do you know how much they're worth today?
Probably quadruple that.
More than that.
Wow.
The 16 booster packs I sold them for $1,500 maybe 2 or 2.5 years ago. They are now currently sitting at a retail value of $14,400.
So
I've been kicking myself forever. So that is my collecting horror story.
I could have bought a TMNT number 1 third print for like $130 to $150, and now that same book is going for like $450. And 2 years ago. So
I hate when that stuff happens, but you live and learn. So
it happens, and some other books go down. It happens. Like first Deadpool has gone down like $500 to $600. It happens. You know what I mean? Okay.
That's part of the gamble. Yeah.
It is. It really is. Let's see that tattoo.
I mean, if you really want to, here, hold on. Let me see if I can not show off my dad bod, but also show you guys my back. Ugh.
I'll put full screen and then tell me when you're ready.
All right, let's see here if I can position my computer correctly. It should be. Let's see here. Tell me, can you see my whole back?
Okay, here we go. Yep, I can.
You can't? Ugh. Let's see here.
It's a little blurry, but we can see it. It's there.
It's there. It takes up the whole back.
I hear that.
If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys can see a full-on picture of it. That's my little plug for myself, but there's a full picture of it a few posts back.
I want to say, yep, I put a link to Comics and Stuff Instagram in the description of the video.
I lost you. What happened?
What's up?
Sound.
I'm still here.
Oh, there we go. Somehow my headphones reconnected.
I did put a link to your Instagram and your YouTube in the description of the video, so you can check out Comics and Stuff there, because obviously his YouTube channel is huge, and his Instagram is growing as well. Went up $10,000. That's crazy. Nice work. Keys, what's up, dude? I need to watch your video from today. I saw it. Haven't had a time to watch it. Yeah, I started my live stream pretty much in the middle of your live stream with newbies, so I didn't really get to watch it. Okay, last question here, and then we'll jump off.
Sure.
What do you have coming on your YouTube coming up, or what do you have coming on? What are you doing in terms of comics here coming up, basically overall? And is there anything you wanted to say that I didn't ask you about?
Well, oh gosh, for my YouTube channel, I am taking a break. So at the very end of last year, for the people that haven't or that are just tuning in or had just tuned in the last few minutes, at the very end of last year, I, along with a really good friend of mine named Lucky, we went across the country for 2 weeks and filmed the entire thing documentary style, visiting 5 of the most famous comic book shops in the country, interviewed their owners, and then we ended the whole thing off at the New York Comic Con and did that for all 4 days and vlogged everything. And that was, I created a new intro, a new outro, all that stuff. It was a great time. And that was so exhausting. It was a wonderful experience. But because of that and just me trying to save for a house right now and this whole pandemic going, I'm kind of just taking a creative deep breath and just I'm taking a break from YouTube. I'm going to come back. It's just taking me a little while to kind of get back in my groove of things. So to anybody that is subscribed to me on YouTube, I'm sorry. I know it's been a while, but I will get back on there. Follow me on Instagram. I'm constantly posting comic books, however, and I'm always down to.
Yes, you are, and that's honestly how I like. Obviously, I watched your videos for a long time, but that's how I contacted you to be on my channel. Because I was like, honestly, I'd kind of forgotten about your channel because I hadn't seen you post anything on Instagram for a while. And one day I saw you posted one thing from work. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get this guy on my YouTube channel sometime.
Yeah, no, I literally hit me up on Instagram if anybody ever wants to talk comic books. I always reply within an hour. I love to chat comic books. I'll talk to anybody about it. That's not an issue for me. But yeah, and just everybody make sure you guys are subscribed to Burke Family. Make sure that you guys follow both of us on Instagram. And just keep doing you, everybody. Keep collecting. Make sure it's fun. Make sure you love it. Make sure you're not stressing yourself out over collecting because it needs to be fun and enjoyable. We need Comic-Con to come back. Curses. I miss Comic-Con. I had a Star Wars vacation planned this year that I was going to vlog for my YouTube channel. I was going to fly down to Anaheim and go to Star Wars Celebration all 4 days, vlog that entire thing, and go to Galaxy's Edge, but it all got canceled. Unfortunately.
Here is Devin's channel again. It is Comics and Stuff. As you can see, he does a lot of awesome videos. He does older videos. He gives you, advice about what to invest in or how to collect, all of that. He's got great stuff. Here's some vlogs that he has. All sorts of really good stuff on the Comics and Stuff YouTube channel. His name is Devin. I appreciate having you on.
Thank you
tonight.
for having me.
I had a great time, and I really, really, again, appreciate you coming on. And maybe we'll have to have you on again sometime because this was.
I would love to be on again. This was great. Yeah, we should definitely do this again.
Definitely. And now, all you got to do, if you want to do live stream, just go to StreamYard.com, hook it up to your YouTube, and then you can just go live anytime too. And then I can join you there.
Right. That'd be cool. That'd be great. Maybe we'll have to come up with a new segment. We'll chat on Instagram.
There we go. Yes, we do like it when Manny and Chino do not disappear for 9 months. That is true. Smash the follow IG and subscribe YouTube. Awesome. There you go.
Thank you.
There we go. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I had a great time. I got a really, really cool announcement video coming up tomorrow on my channel where I am revealing a cover of a brand new comic book series that's coming out. I'm revealing an exclusive cover exclusively on my channel. It's really cool. That's coming out tomorrow. I got a CGC unboxing coming out this week. I have my Thursday night chat. I have an auction on Sunday and several more videos coming out. So make sure you have notifications turned on. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. Thank you again, Comics and Stuff. And as always, go Cats, Cowabunga, and it's Morphin time.